Hi. 1 second. Hey. What's up, Normal American Show host robnoerr? Sorry, I was doing some man shit today. I was just checking on the results. I'm very impressed with myself. Very impressed. I'll explain why in a second here, but I am the least handyman person in the world. I'm just absolute garbage. And I accomplished something today that might seem very simple to the rest of you. I don't give a shit. For me, it was a big deal. So I did it. I hope you're all having a great day. I thought maybe we'd talk about some of this memo that I haven't gone through it. I know what it says, the Tulsi Gabbard Biolab memo. And then I thought about going through one of my old debates where I debated on this, and as always, was called a raving lunatic conspiracy theorist. And as always, proven correct. You guys remember I used to debate this shit all the time. Like, I can remember 4 or 5 debates I did where I was bringing this up at the start of the Ukraine conflict. Because one of the reasons that Russia might be pissed at Ukraine and the United States in general is that the United States is gain of function biolabs right off the border of Russia. And then, oh, mysteriously, this fucking virus came that shut the world down. And it was partially funded by the United States, it looks like. But we were told it was a crazy conspiracy theory. That didn't happen. It turns out, yeah, it did. It did happen. Oh, Mitt Romney told us no. Biden told us no. The Democrats all told us no. Victoria Nuland told us no. And it was yes. It was obviously yes. So we'll look at some of that. There's some more going with the Carmelo Anthony thing. It's worth talking about. And then we can always head over to Speakeasies to do a little debating tonight. If the vibe strikes us, if someone throws a bunch of money around and wants me to go over there. So yeah, that's the game plan for today. So the thing I did today that I'm very impressed. The guest restroom, water was leaking around the edge of the toilet. And so I'd seen this happen before. It's the wax ring that goes underneath the toilet. Needed replaced. At least that's what I was hoping. But I'd never done it myself. And so I was like, oh, should I call a plumber? But I found a video. Well, my wife found a video and was like, some nice gentleman that was explaining step by step how to do it. And I nailed it. And I was like, I know it's going to fuck up. Every time I ever try to fix something, it fucks up. So that's what I was doing. I was just checking right there to make sure. Yeah, it was pretty easy, to be honest. It wasn't much at all. But I was convinced that I was going to fuck it up. I was like, no, I know how I am. I know something will go wrong. But no, I assure you, I am an absolute moron when it comes to this shit. And it wasn't that difficult for me. So if you find yourself to not be a handyman and you ever get into the situation where you need a wax ring replaced, it's not that difficult. Even a moron like me accomplished it. So, and my wife was there, like just handing me wrenches and stuff if I needed, but it was a one-person job. Like once you're draining the toilet, it's ceramic, it's reasonably heavy, but it's not that bad. The hardest part was lining up once he had the wax ring reinstalled, lining up the toilet with the screws that bolt it to the ground. That was the hardest part. Just trying to eyeball it and line it up, but that was it. But I'm very proud. I thought for sure. So we did that earlier today, and then I started the stream, and I was like, you know what? Shit, I should go check that while I'm thinking. I checked it twice today, but I let it set for like 2 hours after flushing it 2 or 3 times, and I was like, surely it'll be leaking. No leak. I'm very impressed. Now, even my wife's impressed. She could tell you how much of a moron I am. So, mission accomplished for man shit for the day. So I get a reprieve. Right back to the grind tomorrow, doing dinosaur shit here on the channel. I've not used the toilet. Well, that's not true. I did. I dumped out some water that was in for reasons into the toilet, but that was it. I haven't used it though. Uh, yeah, I might fall through the floor. I just hope that toilet's probably right above my side of the bed downstairs. So if I do fall through the floor, hopefully I'll land on my bed. Could be worse, you know. But anyways, I did it. I accomplished. So is the World Cup on? Is that happening? Is it mean for me to say I could give a shit less? I really could. I look, I understand the idea of it, and I have friends that are really into soccer, and I would like hang out with them while they were watching and be like, sure, whatever. But I just can't get into it. I understand it's like a big thing as far as world athletics go, but I don't know. I still root for the United States. So fuck them up, USA, but I'm probably not going to watch 1 second of it, if I'm honest. I just could kind of tell because I was scrolling through X and I saw people commenting on it and was like, oh, okie dokie, World Cup on. Aren't there, am I wrong? There's some games that are being played in the United States eventually, right? Yeah, okay. Angel seems to suggest that. Um, I don't know. I don't anticipate any tourists in my neck of the woods for the World Cup. Yeah, I heard there was like some German guy that was it was getting big was like just saying, "Hey, America's cool as shit." America is cool as shit. You know, at least my part of it. Uh, are there some in Philly? I don't know. Jake Rattlesnake always gives me shit because I'm from Pennsylvania. He's like, "Oh, Philadelphia." Pennsylvania is let me look. I'm gonna cheat here. I'm gonna look this up. My guess is Pennsylvania is as big as like, or at least as wide as like maybe Germany. I mean, to drive from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia is no shit like 4 hours and change. Bulgaria. We're bigger than Poland. Or we're bigger than Portugal. But yeah, Philly. What's going on in Philly has nothing to do with me. It's way over there. You know. Yeah, it's a wide state. Yeah. Well, what do you guys want to do tonight? Do you want to do debate shit? Do you want to do yeah, from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh's almost 4 hours. Philly's even further, so I could go over to Speakeasies if you like, but you gotta send money in for that first, because once I get over there, everyone will donate Speakeasy, which is great. Speakeasy's awesome. How far am I from Gettysburg? I don't know, 3 hours. I love Gettysburg. It's one of my favorite places to go to. Just rock out with Disney whip songs all night. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? That sounds like an idea. Oh, and if you'll excuse me, I have to go find a fucking rope. Yeah, I think we're gonna look at the Biolab shit. This is what we're probably going to do. First off, super chats. I did not see Brian on Tim Pool. People were telling me he was on there, and I heard he did terribly. I could have guessed that. If you were like, hey, Brian Shaprio is on Tim Pool, how do you think he did? I would have said, probably absolute dog shit would be my guess. And you would have been like, you were right.
He harasses women in messages, has a weird infatuation with men's organs. He's a syndicated radio host, and it's all about respect. He's Brian Shaprio.
Yes, Brian Shaprio. What a champion. So wait, he was on today and yesterday? Is that what happened? Oh yeah, hate monger. I'm reading the Rumble chat. Don't worry. I got 2 screens up. No, he's not going to see it. I still suffer through penis gate. I'm going to hold on strong. Oh, they gave him 2 days. He didn't ask to see Tim's penis. Good for Tim. Yeah, I saw Andrew. I saw a little bit of it was on with Fatty. Who isn't that the guy's name? It was like a black panel that was basically like, yay, killing white people's the best. We should kill white people. That would be cool. Look, the whole, we could go on again about the Austin Metcalf thing. Now they're sending death threats to his family's home. His dad called the kid who killed his son a watermelon felon because I believe he literally did steal watermelons at one point. Of course, now the left cares about the case. You already had the black left that was like, but wait a minute, we should be allowed to kill white people. And then you had the rest of the left that was like, we're just going to try to ignore the fact that we've built a coalition with people that want to kill white people. But then as soon as the word watermelon felon came out, I saw like Krasensteins came out and were like, whoa, yeah, man, fuck you. You could drop the N-word if you want. They murdered your son. It's okay. Fuck these people. By the way, here's the thing also to know. I actually saw Nick Fuentes say this, so I have to give him credit. And he's absolutely right. When I say who gives a fuck if they call you racist anymore, I don't care. Look, I don't run around just shouting the N-word. It's not my style, right? But I might be a little more crude language than I have here on YouTube. But on YouTube, you have to follow terms of service. Okay, fine, great. We all understand the game and how it's played. But the idea that we're supposed to not talk about this shit because, you gotta choose your words carefully. Why does it matter? You're gonna be called a fucking racist no matter what. And by the way, it's not just a race issue. This is the left in general. Either you're constantly capitulated to all of their narratives or you're a bigot. It's that simple. Ask the feminist. That's what happened to them. Oh, they were all on board. The feminists, they were all intersectionality and all that bullshit with race. And, it was all good in the hood until the trans shit happened. And then a bunch of the feminists were like, wait a minute, you're men. And the men were like, no, we're women. We agree with all your shit about men being evil. We're women. And you're a bigot. So why do you even give a shit? And this is why I do that show I'm Speaking Now, right? Because it is fun, particularly the academic class of these people, like the black academic, scholarly, systemic racism, black women are the victims and black people are the victims always. Fuck that. Make fun of it. That's the appropriate reaction. Laugh right in their fucking face. Right in their face. Mock them. That's what they deserve. Fuck you. Oh, well, yeah, it would suck to have your kid murdered, but you know what's worse than that? Trying to live a day in the life as a black person. Fuck you. Eat shit. I don't give a fuck. You deserve to be ridiculed and mocked. Because you're not intelligent enough to actually fucking have someone explain it to you. So we'll just laugh at you instead. How about that? And the rest of us will say, fuck these people. We don't have to put up with and capitulate to fucking savages that think they have the right to murder us. And the whole fucking narrative, by the way, that's like, well, he put his hands, he encroached in Carmelo Anthony's space. Austin encroached in his space. Man, have you ever seen how black people act in public? You want to talk about getting in people's personal space? So are they really going to make the argument that if hands touch you, you're justified to stab someone in the heart? Is that really what's going to happen here? Because I think as a net, if that's what happens every time someone puts their hands on someone, I think black community ain't going to like the results. In my opinion. The part I saw that the panel was Andrew was on was they were like, well, if you would have stabbed Wes Watson when he was like pushing up on you, your wife and your friends would have stuck up for you. Yeah. Okay. Sure. It doesn't mean that he wouldn't have, from outside the perspective of being his friend, deserved to go to prison. You would. Oh, but what about Rittenhouse? I'm tired of explaining that there are key differences to these fucking issues. Rittenhouse was in a space he was allowed to be where other people were attacking it. He tried to flee. He was open carrying, sort of like a snake with bright colors, like, don't come fucking near me, right? And yet a fucking insane person chased him anyways, trying to beat him. Rittenhouse, instead of just stabbing him in the heart, tried to run away until he heard a gunshot behind him, then turned around to see the guy grabbing his gun. The second group of people that Rittenhouse shot at was a violent mob trying to kill him. One drawing a gun, another beating him with the skateboard. The key difference is Rittenhouse had the right to be where he was and tried to run away anyways instead of escalating the situation. Carmelo Anthony went into a space intentionally to provoke, then said, go ahead, put your hands on me, see what happens. Refused to leave when asked multiple times, and then finally when someone gave him a little push, immediately reached in his bag and stabbed him in the heart. In fact, witnesses testified he was reaching in his bag where the knife was even before hands were put on him. But it's funny. Well, he feared for his life, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. What was you guys' take on George Zimmerman? Just curious. In that situation, it wasn't just that Trayvon put hands on Zimmerman. He was on top of Zimmerman, beating his head off the cement or off the road. Why wasn't that justification, according to these scholarly black folks that we see? I said it yesterday. I said, the fact that these people are saying this public shows that they know that culture has moved so far that they could openly say this shit. It's sort of like Islamic terrorism. Yeah, it's a huge problem in a religion of billions of people that you have like 2 to 5% that are willing to engage in acts of violence for their religion. But probably the more troubling statistic is the next 20% that are okay supporting the people that engage in violence. That's what we're dealing with. Yeah, of course. Just like with the Charlie Kirk thing. It's not everyone that's doing it. Yes, there are people calling in death threats to Austin Metcalf's family. Yes, there are people filming themselves punching white people now. By the way, all the videos you see now of like the knockout game and people punching white people, just so we're clear, all of those, according to the black community, you could stab those people, right? That's their argument. You go up, all it needs is shoving someone, and now you have license to stab them. I'm sorry. I'm fucking tired of it. You want to keep your fucking heathenism into your own communities that we have to depart from? Fine, fuck it. Bad enough, but whatever. But as soon as you start acting like you have a right to be fucking rude assholes and encroach other people's spaces and then provoke them into trying to remove you and then you get to murder them with impunity, go fuck yourself. Oh, but it was an all-white jury. It was not. There were minorities. But the implication when they're saying that is they know a black person would say not guilty. There's a huge chance of that. Remember the OJ jurors? Black person won't find a black person guilty. We know. All of these motherfucking people, they literally, like, I've been seeing this shit since like 2004. They fucking hate white people. They hate you. Imagine that. This is a fucking country. In fact, not just this country, but white countries that were traditionally white and right, of European ancestry. These are fucking countries that you could come from the third world and end up being a millionaire politician within 10 years in your new country. You think that happens in the alternate? You think I'm going to head to Zimbabwe and all of a sudden fucking be running the show? They'll crack my skull open because I'm a bald man because they think that there's some fucking juju in there that'll give them virility or some shit. I'm so tired of it. And I've been dealing with this fucking, and you just have to put your head down and go, ooh, yeah, fuck you. No, fuck off. I don't give a shit. And all this shit that's happening, look, if there's one silver lining to this, are people finally starting to wake up and realizing you could just say, yeah, you know what? No, we don't have to live in fear or live like some third world shithole just because we're afraid of getting called racist. Fuck you. We don't want you. Get the fuck out, man. You have all these, I saw like Akon and some other black celebrities. We're going to get as many people as we can to Africa. Don't threaten us with a good fucking time. See you later. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. How will we ever survive? Take the fucking Somalians with you. There's a workable solution. Everybody go to fucking Canada. They're liberal. Have at. You guys will do great there. Trust me. Take some fur coats. You'll be all right. And again, then you feel bad for fucking like, and you see these videos like, I saw this one. It was like, this woman's like, what do I tell my black kids? And it's like a black guy with like his 5 kids. He's like, hey kids, don't stab people. There you go. Nailed it. I feel bad for people like that. Some guy just wants to be a good dad. He's busting his ass. And all these members of his fucking community are exposing themselves to be the hateful fucking assholes. And it's not changed. It's not like, oh, this incident changed it. This is who these people always were. They fucking hate white people. They hate them. Hate them. It's not about equality. It's not even about equity. It's about revenge. That's what it's about. And we've enshrined it into our culture that it's acceptable. And then you're a racist if you're like, I don't like that. Shut up, racist. Fuck you. Yeah, it's not new. It's just more open. But I tried to explain this to people for years, that this is what was going on. All right. And then now there's people taking pictures or photoshopping themselves pissing on Austin Metcalf's grave. I mean, It's okay to look at those people and be like, we don't want you in our country. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. Then go to the African paradise. Go build fucking Wakanda. Why are all these people that fucking hate white people insisting on being here? Get the fuck out. I don't go to someone's house and then be like, I hate these fucking people, but I'll be back again tomorrow. If I don't like them, I say, I'm not going to go there. It's got to be some deep down envy and self-loathing, right? That they know that they're fucking inferior. Again, I'm not saying all black people. I'm saying the fucking racial grifters. Just like all the socialists. They know they'll never be as good as the people they bitch about. So they have to throw stones at them to make themselves feel better. You know? By the way, that's why they tear down like successful people in the black community. Did you ever hear a story? I knew a couple people that this shit happened to, that I knew from my days in debate. There were like black students that did really well, and they got fucking bullied for it. Oh, what are you fucking reading? What are you getting good grades? What a shitty culture. Are you fucking kidding me? As if there's not black people to celebrate. Clarence Thomas, that man's 50 fucking times smarter than I'll ever be. One of the greatest Supreme Court justices we ever had. Ben Carson. Those people are shunned by the major voices in black culture. Who the fuck are they celebrating? Gangster rap dudes? Racial grievance people like fucking the Obama crew? Why would you bully him? Like, you would think, even if you couldn't be like a good student, you saw you're black and you see a kid in your school that's doing good, you'd be like, yeah, fuck it, man, do good, get out of here. Go make something of yourself. Come back and help the community. But now, fuck that guy. Crabs in a bucket. Fuck you. We don't want anyone doing better than us. We're fucking degenerate pieces of shit, so you should be too. Meanwhile, how many fucking black people do you think have been killed by other blacks and like gang violence and stupid shit in the past like 2 weeks? Where are all the protests? Where are all the voices? The community activists in the black community? Where the fuck are they? They're just pissed you can't murder white people. We accept that we can all murder black people. That's fine. That deal's over. Now we want to move on to being able to murder white folks. Rural white dummies don't do the same thing. Show me the murder rate. Go ahead. The wealthiest blacks that make over $80,000 a year still commit violent crime at a higher rate than the poorest whites that make under $15,000 a year. I only watched a little bit of the debate. I didn't get to see much. Yeah, there's fuckheads in every culture, of course. Both sides do it. Of course. There's shitbags in all cultures, of course. Same's true of this area around here. Murder is almost unheard of. It'll be like 1 every 10 years. And most of it's drug related. Oh, Myron joined? I thought about DMing Andrew and seeing if they'd let me on. Yeah, they kicked Andrew and Myron off. No shit. It's always racial grievance with those people. Always. That crew. Press up on you, threaten you, try to intimidate you, and when you're just like, yeah, I'm not impressed, go fuck yourself. Yeah, Myron ain't gonna take no shit. Yeah, Yeah, I'm not going to watch the clip on here. Yeah, I've debated Fatty before. He's shit. Of course Myron's pissed. He sees this shit all the time. It's not going to be fixed by dudes like me, by the way. It's going to be people within inside the black community that start to fix this. It's going to take huge amounts of them standing up to the so-called activists and black scholars and black voice, cultural leaders, and being like, fuck you. At what point should we expect people from outside of that community to take a chance on members of that community? At what point? How many black people do I need to openly say that they hate me for my skin color before I'm like, you know what? I just don't think I want to associate with black people. When does it become acceptable for me to do that? I would expect the same of black people. If enough white people were like, we hate you, we hate we hate you, we hate you, we hate you, I would expect black people to be like, you know what? I don't think I want to deal with white people to the extent best of my ability. Oh, I know what they do. And I know. What, like they said that the kid deserved it for pushing it. These are people that think, remember, these are people that think if you use a magic word, if you say the N word, then that justifies them doing any amount of violence to you whatsoever. At all. So, of course, they think if you would be like, excuse me, that justifies violence. Why wouldn't they? Of course. They would think if words are violence, then actual putting your hands on someone clearly justifies an escalation. Yeah, it's like a non-understanding of proportionality. You wronged me, therefore I get to wrong you. Sort of like that debate I was doing the other day, right? You did something I thought was bad. You told me to be quiet at the movie theater. I get to stab you in the throat. That's something you think's bad. There, we're even. I hope they take it back to trial. By the way, if you look at the comments of his family's out there lying, saying it was all white jury. They're saying that their own defense attorney screwed them over. The family I was reading was encouraged because the facts were so against them to take a plea deal. They refused to because they wanted to keep raising money. Now, allegedly, they're pleading poverty in order to get an appeals attorney because they pissed away all their money that they made. And again, when you looked at the pictures that they were themselves putting out, they don't look like a poor family. What the fuck is going on? All right. Let's read some super chats and then we'll get on to this Tulsi Gabbard story. Maybe. Oh, no, we're not. I got to play some of this shit. CBS Morning. Like, imagine. Now, here's what I think's funny. We have all of this anti-white shit going on across the West at the same time, right? And so what's the response to it? Well, you shouldn't watch it. Censor social media. Don't leave them see the migrant trying to saw a dude's head off. Don't let them see the Novak police cam footage. No, don't leave them see it. Stop talking about it. Censor those people. That's the response. Meanwhile, what was the reaction to George Floyd? Show that fucking video everywhere. Billions of dollars in riots. Didn't matter. Keep showing it. Funny how when the shoe's on the other foot, right? Now, I said for years, and I've kept saying it, like a broken record. The lesson that's being taught to conservatives, to white people, to men, etc., is if you want to get your way, use violence. That's what's being taught. I've lamented this for years. I said, I keep talking about how political violence is wrong, and it is. And when our side utilizes political violence, they will lock you away and throw away the key. They will. So don't do it. But it's hard to argue because quite rightfully the response is it works for them. Muslims didn't want people drawing Muhammad, so they started killing people. Guess what? No one in the mainstream draws Muhammad, do they? Oh, okay, we're sorry, sirs. Minority populations, they're getting bigger and bigger. The left riots all the time. How many riots has there been against ICE? Almost with impunity. It works for them. It fucking works. But conservatives are just like, well, we'll make our voices heard. We'll vote. That's what we'll do. And it doesn't matter. 80% of us want the SAVE Act. Fuck you. We want the borders to be closed. Fuck you. We want H-1Bs tamped down. Fuck you. And it's worse in Europe. We're tired of immigration. We vote for Brexit. Fuck you, they say. Okay, we're going to vote for the right-wing government, the Tories, to try to secure the border. Fuck you, the Tories say. Fine, fuck it. We'll try labor. Fuck you. Okay, we'll try reform. Fuck you. So what do you expect people are going to do when they watch one of their own getting their fucking heads sawn off on the street? Of course, this is exactly what the opposition wants. They just hope that it could be in a small enough burst that they could contain it and then lock all the people up and make an example of them. So I'm not for the riots, but I understand it, and it's going to keep happening. It's still something that we should resist because what's going to happen is it's going to give them the ultimate excuse to crack down. Don't be fucking Fed posting in the chat. Be careful. But all of our institutions go in the same direction, all of them. Here's CBS Morning interviewing Carmelo Anthony's family.
My son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself.
It took less than 3 hours for a jury to reject 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony's claims of self-defense in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. Prosecutors argued Anthony intentionally killed Metcalf after being taunted and shoved by Metcalf and his teammates at a high school track meet.
Take us inside that courtroom.
After being taunted and shoved. Is that what it was? How about after him trespassing into another team's tent he wasn't supposed to be in, being asked to leave multiple times, him basically saying, make me, go ahead, touch me, see what happens. But I guess that's one way to frame it, CBS.
What stuck out to you?
What stuck out to me, number one, was the all-white jury. But I was trying to be...
All-white jury. CBS allows this guy to lie and say, I just wish there was a black person on there that would have let my son murder white boys. If I'm ever on a jury, I assure you, I'll let black men murder white people.
You know, like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the truth is on our side.
Good work, CBS. Nice. Mm-hmm. It's just, I want you to understand this. I don't hate anyone for their skin color. I don't. At all. I don't fucking want to even pay attention to it. I don't. But at some point, it's like, these people actively fucking hate me. These people make social situations impossible. They cost us tons of money. They make shit so inconvenient. You have to bend over backwards in every fucking situation you're in, and everybody rolls their eyes, and everyone in their heart knows, and in their brain fucking knows, this is ridiculous. But you got to kowtow to them. I'm tired of it. I'm fucking tired of it. And it's shit that half of fucking white people would excommunicate you if they fucking heard you say, like, we're tired of this shit. All it would take would collectively being like, fuck you people, you lose all power. That's it. We're done fucking treating you like you're special because you race. Fuck you. You will make it based on your merits or you're fucked. Do that for 2 generations, and the problem would start to solve itself. Cut the fucking welfare off. Harsher penalties. No more fucking around. All right, I'm going to read super chats, and we're going to move on to the Tulsi Gabbard story. Kilo Sierra, thanks so much. $5 says, I'm blue collar poor. Try to support you where I can. Thank you for being you, Rob. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for all the support. Bat Fricker, what's up, man? $10 says, I saw a picture of Charlie as a furry today. It was pro Charlie and tasteful. That sounds horrible. Sepulaba, $5 says, I plead it's not race, it's leftist culture. That's not entirely true. There are certainly people outside the scope of the racial stereotypes. Agreed. Was it leftism why Africa is the way it is? As well? Catmere, $10 says, I'm late to the party. Can you start over? No? Well, hope you and the family as well, Rob. They are well, thank you. And then gifts 5 subs, thank you. Tacoma, I got it. $5 says, would you be opposed to releasing all of their brothers and sisters from our prisons if they leave immediately? I mean, to where? Leave where? To Mexico to be back tomorrow? Are you telling me if I was 100% guaranteed that every black person would leave the country or every immigrant would leave the country if we allowed black criminals out and sent them back to another country, would I do it? I don't know. It's sort of a far out there approach. I would say the people that are criminals deserve to be punished. I guess maybe sending them back to Africa would be a punishment, but all right. We're going to the Biolab story. Yeah, I don't think we're sending all black people out of the country. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. And it shouldn't. There's no reason that a black guy that didn't do anything wrong. No, I disagree with you, are we not, man? No. I can't stay very still, huh? I saw another girl got stuck in the neck in the UK, yeah. Looked like another immigrant. Bananas and rice, yeah, that's about it. All right, I'm looking for something real quick. I'm looking for a video. I can't find the debate, but here's a video I did. I haven't seen this recently. It's 7 minutes. So I'm going to play this video, all right, as we start this story. This is from, by the way, March 8th, 2022. 4 years ago. Much of the information that's coming out of the Ukraine-Russia situation is just blatant propaganda. I talked about this before, but both sides are engaged in this propaganda as to be expected. But you can see the lengths that the people in the West are willing to all go to parrot exactly what the establishment's saying is. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't favor Russia invading. I hate these invasions, whether it's the United States, whether it's Russia. I think it's terrible. I don't want people to be harmed. I think the country of the Ukraine deserves to have its own leadership. I think it's a shame that they've basically been a proxy conflict between the United States and Russia since they were created in the 90s anyways. However, one of the things we see is the rapidness that people want to accuse you of spreading Russian disinformation if you want to talk about anything that they think goes against the establishment narrative. They say you're a stooge of Putin and things like that. One of the things that people were talking about way back on February 24th, which seems like eons ago when Russia first invaded, was the potential that they were targeting biolabs that were supported by the United States and Ukraine. People said that this was Russian disinformation and that Russia had been spreading this since 2018. I went to vaunted left-wing fact-checker / propaganda Snopes to see what they said about this. They claimed that this was not only Russian disinformation that's been spread since 2018, but that it's been picking up. And the idea that there are biolabs there that are being funded by the United States and doing anything nefarious is ridiculous. They actually cited out one person whose name I'll pick below, I believe it's War Clandestine, who was someone on Twitter that talked about this possibility. Now, I don't think Clandestine was 100% accurate in everything he said. He could be, he could not be, I don't know. But it seems that his channel was removed, and Snopes, certainly around this time, targeted him for spreading this alleged Russian disinformation. I don't know if one has to do with the other, but I wouldn't be surprised if that had something to do with why this Twitter channel was canceled. Anyways, we looked at that and said, it's Russian disinformation, and that was the end of it. Now, what about that was Russian disinformation? Well, this is how this sort of thing goes. It could be that some of that's not proven true, and so therefore you could say, well, that's not true, so it must be Russian disinformation. But maybe huge parts of what was being said was true. But the feeling you got from listening to Snopes, USA Today, and other places fact check and say that this wasn't accurate was that there's no biolabs in Ukraine, and certainly the United States had nothing to do with them, and there'd be no reason for Russia to be targeting them anyways. Now fast forward today to Under Secretary of State Victoria Nuland. You might remember Nuland. She's a person who was basically instrumental in a color revolution or a sort of coup, soft coup, that occurred in Ukraine in 2014, where she's on audio admitting that her role as part of the Obama State Department was picking out who the new leader of Ukraine should be after they helped oust Yanukovych, who was seen as the pro-Russian president. Wouldn't it be nice for the people of Ukraine to have a president that looked after their own interests first instead of Russia or the United States? But I digress. Anyways, that's maybe where you would remember her name from. She was testifying in front of the Senate and Marco Rubio today, and she did in fact mention that there are biolabs in Ukraine, and that it appears that Russia seems to be targeting them, and that the United States is actively working with the government of Ukraine to be able to help defend or see what they could do about Russia not exploiting those bioweapon labs. She also said if there's a bio attack, Marco Rubio cued her to saying this. She assures us it wouldn't be Ukraine, it would absolutely be Russia that did that. Now, there's two things to say about this. The first is kind of the reason for doing the video, which is, I thought this was all Russian disinformation. They'll gaslight you and say, oh, no, we were saying it was disinformation, that the initial attack was targeted against these facilities, but it was always a possibility that Russia would go after these facilities. That's not the impression they gave. If we had serious media people, you wouldn't have to rely on people like random Twitter people to get stories like this and questions like this, because the media should be investigating these sorts of things. But we don't have a media. We have propagandists that are just interested in putting out about Sam Hyde shooting down airplanes in Ukraine as the ghost of Kiev, or Snake Island and the people that died there, etc. It's all propaganda all the time. And it's always been like this. Remember, Russia disinformation was used right before the election when they said the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation and censored people from being able to talk about it. And then we found out months later, actually that story was accurate. Remember, they told us 50 intel agents wrote on and said, oh my goodness, this is all Russian disinformation. And then it turned out that was a lie. But it doesn't matter because, oh well, the election's over. They got what they wanted. The same thing's true here. They'll just say that you're spreading Russian disinformation, and when it comes to light, they just act like they never said it and said, yeah, okay, but still trust us on everything. So that's the first thing. And we're seeing this becoming more emboldened and more dangerous as they continue to try to push us closer to a conflict with the nuclear-armed superpower and possible World War III. We hear Republicans and Democrats talking about no-fly zones. We hear people like Lindsey Graham talking about wanting someone to assassinate Putin. All of this stuff's occurring. The other thing I want to say real quick is that I'll post the link below, where Russia and China have been accusing for a long time now the United States of developing bioweapons on their borders in places like Ukraine. Now, I can't prove that's happening. I don't know. But how would the United States feel if a hostile power, say North Korea, China, Russia, had biolabs stationed 50 miles off of the border of the United States and Mexico? And it's not just that this is happening in a vacuum. Remember, the United States, we keep talking about sovereignty. Remember, the United States had boots on the ground in Syria. One of the first things the Biden administration did when it came into office was bomb Syria. Not because Syria did anything, but because allegedly Iranians were in Syria attacking U.S. interests, and so we had to bomb the sovereign nation of Syria to take out these Iranians, who simultaneously we were working with to have a deal with the Iran nuclear deal. Make sense yet? Just like we're against Russia in Ukraine, but working with Russia to get an Iranian nuclear deal done. Starting to make sense yet? If not, start to think about how it's not about what they're telling you, and it's all about their agenda to harm the middle class and drag us into another war for their own benefit. That's what's really going on, and then it starts to make sense. So how would the United States feel if these labs were there? I'm not saying these labs were bioweapon facilities or not. It's not for me to say. What I am saying, it would be reasonable with all of the things that are going, with Russia seeing NATO and the United States and Ukraine as being aggressors to them, to be very skeptical of having admitted biolabs, and I'll put the links below, that have some of the most deadliest diseases known to mankind and pathogens, according to U.S. State Department, to have that 50 miles away from your border under the control of a hostile power. Now, I'm not saying this justifies Putin invading or that this was the sole reason of the invasion, but we need to understand that there were things that NATO, the United States, Ukraine was doing that would be seen as aggression towards Russia. And if we just have this simplistic view, we make the same mistake that Ron Paul was warning us about over a decade ago. You don't say we don't blame the people that committed 9/11. You say we could blame them and the blame should be on them, but we could also say, what did we do that led to this? What did the United States do? What did NATO do that led to this? And instead, we're childishly dragging ourselves closer to World War III by saying that anyone who asks questions like that is an ally of Vladimir Putin. It's ridiculous, and we should stop doing it. And furthermore, we should stop accepting when people try to accuse you of being a racist, of being a Russian disinformation, etc. anytime you're saying something that later ends up being accurate just because they don't want to deal with it. Hey, if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. Check me out on an All American Savage. Yes! Give me a like and subscribe. Sounds good. That was 2022, that video. Victoria Nuland, like the day before, let it slip up that these biolabs existed. Now, I'd done debate after debate. It's difficult to find them because a lot of times it'll just be like a stream that someone will call in. I debated this guy, I'm Really Important. We talked about the biolab stuff. He said, nope, it's a bullshit. It's conspiracy theories. I said, what part of it is a conspiracy theory? What part of it's wrong? Or he said it was Russian disinformation. And he said, that doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it helps Russia. See, it was malinformation. Let's see if I can find the video. But I debated a bunch of people on this. Now, the point I was making at the end of that video 4 years ago, what would the United States do if China had biolabs that were working on gain-of-function technology of all this serious shit? By the way, we'll get to exactly what Tulsi said. 50 miles off of our border in Mexico. What would we say? Would the United States government say, no problem. Sounds good to me? Probably not. They'd probably say that's unacceptable. Here's Tulsi Gabbard, the video she put out today on this, and then we'll go to the document.
After months of searching through intelligence community holdings and files, today I'm releasing new evidence of long-standing U.S. government funding of more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries. Now, these biolabs include labs in places like Ukraine, which could be at risk of compromise due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, the intelligence community had previously warned that a U.S.-funded biolab in Ukraine likely housed dangerous pathogens and remained vulnerable to long-standing threats of Russian attack, seizure, or damage. Now, until now, evidence regarding the full existence and funding of these laboratories had been knowingly withheld from you, the American people. Many of these U.S. government-funded biolabs are currently or have previously engaged in research using hazardous and highly contagious pathogens, and in some cases included dangerous gain-of-function research with very little visibility or oversight. Now, President Trump clearly understands the serious threat dangerous gain-of-function research poses to the American people. And this is why he took decisive action over a year ago. On May 25th, 2025, he signed an executive order to end federal funding of gain-of-function research around the world. Here at ODNI, I issued new guidance to the intelligence community directing increased collection on these laboratories and facilities overseas. And we're already seeing the results of this increased collection. We're learning new details, for example, on clinical trials that are underway at these facilities and that are raising significant ethical, financial, and security concerns regarding the supposed public health initiatives and U.S. national security. Now, despite the obvious potential for catastrophic global impact that research on dangerous pathogens in biolabs can have, politicians and so-called health professionals like Dr. Fauci, as well as entities within the Biden administration's national security team, lied repeatedly to the American people about the existence of U.S.-funded and supported biolabs. Not only did they lie, they threatened those who attempted to expose the truth. So this release today breaks new ground, as the information surrounding the existence, history, locations, and funding of these U.S.-funded biolabs has been intentionally covered up by very powerful people who falsely claimed that these biolabs didn't exist. Now, they accuse anyone who says otherwise to be foreign assets and traitors to America. Now, Odie and I will continue working closely with partners across the U.S. government to identify exactly where these labs are and what pathogens they contain to end dangerous gain-of-function research that threatens the health and well-being of the American people and people around the world.
Now, why would they lie? Why was it important to lie? Well, much like everything with COVID, because the reason that they're censoring you or that they're lying isn't because they're afraid you'll believe something that isn't true. It's because they don't want you to know the truth. So they censor you. Oh, he's spreading misinformation. They don't give a shit about that. So they wanted this censored, that people were talking about this, and they lied in an attempt to censor it and said it was just not true and it was Russian misinformation. Why? Because the American people that were being told that they basically had to lock down and put their lives on hold, and in many cases ruin people's lives, while simultaneously having to allow Black Americans and Black Lives Matter to fucking riot with impunity whenever they felt like it, those people might start to get pissed if they realize, wait a minute, you mean that the United States government's been funding the very shit that possibly led to what happened? Dr. Fauci damn well knew that they were funding not just the Wuhan lab, but all of these other gain-of-function things, even though they weren't supposed to be, all across the Eastern world. They knew it. And they knew the American people would be pissed. And then that might mean that Dr. Fauci didn't get to do his cool magazine covers and be a big celebrity. Power's intoxicating. Didn't want to give that up and instead go from the most important man in the country to the most hated man in the country. That'd be bad. So they lied. And it was blatant. It was obvious that these labs existed. You saw me talking about it in 2022. Do you think I have significant government connections? No, I was just reading. It was obvious that these labs existed. To the extent where they couldn't disprove that the labs existed, they would say, well, they're just there holding Cold War material. They're not actively researching or gain of function and stuff like that. And it turns out it was all bullshit. And the media went along with it, and the politicians went along. Where was the fucking media? Isn't that sort of their job? That's a pretty serious allegation. Why don't we get someone to look into that? I mean, the labs fucking exist. There's over 100 of them. CBS doesn't have a fucking budget to get someone on a plane? This is why no one trusts any of these institutions. Okay, the intel agents are lying to you. Bad enough. The politicians lied to you as well. We know that. They're politicians. That's what they do. The media's fucking lying to you. The academics are fucking lying to you. Everyone is. Here's the actual information that Tulsi released. We'll go through this to the best of our ability. Veterinary research facility in Kharkiv, ongoing target for Russian misinformation, other potential operations. The Institute for Experimental and Clinical Veterinary Medicine in Kharkiv probably houses at least some dangerous pathogens and almost certainly remains vulnerable to long-standing Russian information operations, seizure, or damage. Now, think about this. On one hand, it's like, would Russia be happy that this is 50 miles away from their border, this supposed veterinary clinic that has, well, you'll see the shit they have, like anthrax and other shit? No, they probably weren't happy. Second, now we have to worry about Russia getting their hands on this shit. Boy, it would have been quite embarrassing if they got their hands on shit that showed the U.S. had a hand in creating COVID, wouldn't it? That'd be a fucking disaster. Better go to war, motherfucker. I don't know if the United States had a hand in creating COVID, but at this point, it's most likely that they funded money that at least had a hand in it. And they're doing all sorts of other dangerous shit at the same time funding it, even if not COVID. The institute, which was founded in the 1920s, may have had Soviet biological warfare ties, specializes in veterinary medicine, virology, and toxicology, and then blank, according to military reporting and Ukrainian documentation. IECVM may have directly or indirectly supported Soviet BW efforts. That's biological warfare. IECVM focused research on diagnostic and vaccines, and it's already been destroyed. As of the early 2010s, this place held hundreds of pathogens and was one of over 40 Ukrainian-owned and operated laboratories that received assistance under DoD's Biological Threat Reduction Program, according to publicly available info and blank reporting. Although the facility had some areas with modern equipment and infrastructure, the clinic, as recently as 2019, had some biosafety and biosecurity deficiencies, most notably in rooms handling contagious Brucella bacteria, according to reporting. We're working to better understand the current status of the pathogens and biosafety of this facility and other Ukrainian laboratories because recent reporting suggests laboratories were ordered to destroy holdings after Russia's invasion. Russia accused the U.S. of biological weapon work in a basement lab in the facility. They had anthrax, Brucella. The facility almost certainly will remain a target of Russian information operation, particularly narratives that focus on its zoonotic pathogen work, COVID, and will be vulnerable to potential Russian damage or seizure. And then a bunch of redacted information from 2012 indicates that at least this place's virology building has a basement level. Over 40 labs built and supported in Ukraine. Storage of biological weapon pathogens from the Soviet era. U.S. training for Ukrainian scientists to work in biocontainment, especially dangerous pathogen certification. Repository of biological weapons and disease-causing pathogens. Anthrax, malaria, tuberculosis, swine fever, Newcastle disease, MERS, SARS, Marburg, Ebola, Lassa, the plague, and rickettsia. Here you can see. Now look right on the border here of Russia. Look how close some of these labs are, including the Kharkiv one that we just talked about. Example information, U.S. built the following labs. Kherson, total cost of the lab, $1.7 million and change. Here's the contractor team. And then it says permit for working on pathogens is listed as in progress on the Ukraine embassy site. The veterinary place we just talked about, $2.1 million. Permit working on pathogens listed as in progress. Here's one that was $3.5 million. Here's one that was $1.9 million. Ukrainian labs and their connections to the bioweapons industry. USDA, World Health Organization, Army Research, Food and Agriculture Organization, CDC, University of Alaska, Kansas State, University of New Mexico, the U.S. paid Ukrainian scientists to study the genome of highly pathogenic avian flu and other infectious viruses in biocontainment labs, which are also paid for by the U.S. government. What's wrong with having biolabs with biological weapons on the border of Russia? I bet they do the same. You don't think that Russia would see that as a provocation? Russia probably believes, probably correctly, that COVID was being monkeyed with in a lab. Then they look 50 miles from their border and say the United States, which funded the Wuhan lab, funding other labs. They didn't like that. They said, fuck all that. That's why the intel's saying that these labs are going to be targeted by Russia, because they're not happy. It's provocation. Yeah, I know there was Chinese labs in California, yeah? But that's because they've bought out part of our government. So our government's going to, if it was hostile and they weren't paying for our government, the U.S. would be pretty pissed. Now, as bad as this story is, when you take it in context with COVID and all the people that were involved in helping lead us through COVID were just fucking lying about this. They could have said this. Yeah, okay, there's those labs that has nothing to do with COVID. But they didn't. They were like, no, labs don't exist. The hell, they could have said we're not allowed to talk about it. That's what they could have said. But they knew that if the American people knew that the U.S. government was funding these unsecure labs that were working on things like weaponizing COVID vaccines, that would piss them off. So they lied. And our media lied. And they called you a conspiracy theorist. And that, to me, is almost as big of the story as the labs existing themselves. It's just another example of something that was most likely obvious, and they just gaslit you over and over and over. This shit happened so many. It's like the Hunter. By the way, the Bidens were invested in these labs, allegedly. Hunter Biden emails showed that Rosemont Seneca, the group he was working with, invested $500,000 in Biolab, a San Francisco company specializes in pathogen research. He had 13.4% stake in that bio research place. And then he introduced them to Burisma for a science project involving biolabs. Hunter Biden's old emails linked to Ukraine labs. This is from China Daily Global in 2022. The much scrutinized laptop of Hunter Biden includes emails that connect the U.S. president's son to biological laboratories in Ukraine, according to allegations by the Russian government in recent media reports. Moscow has claimed that secret American biological warfare labs in Ukraine were a justification for its military incursion into Eastern Europe labor last month. On March 24th, the Kremlin alleged the labs produced biochemical weapons. An investment fund run by Hunter Biden funded research and the implementation of the United States military biological program. It's obvious that Joe Biden, as his father and head of state, was aware of the activity. Russia's State Duma Speaker, good Lord, Vyacheslav Volodin said, according to Russian media. Volodin called for U.S. congressional investigation and White House explanation. Incoming material allowed us to trace the interaction scheme between the U.S. government agencies and the Ukrainian Biolab. Igor Kirilov, head of Russia's Radiation, Chemical, and Biological Defense Forces, said at a March 24th briefing. American intelligence officials had earlier dismissed Russia's claims as war propaganda, explaining Ukraine's network of biological labs researching pathogens was not secret and had publicly received funding from Washington. Russia's new claim, however, that Hunter Biden's investment fund was involved raising money for biolab projects in Ukraine is accurate, according to emails first obtained by the New York Post and initially reported by the Daily Mail of London on March 25th. Rosemont Seneca Technology Partners invested $500,000 in Biolab, a pathogen research company headquartered in San Francisco, and raised millions more through firms that included Goldman Sachs, according to emails found on the computer, which was abandoned in the Wilmington, Delaware repair shop in April 2019. Rosemont Seneca is an investment firm based out of D.C. It was founded in 2009 by Hunter Biden, Christopher Hines, and Devin Archer. Christopher Hines, by the way, I believe is John Kerry's kid, or at least his wife's kid. Hines is there we go. Hines is the stepson of U.S. Secretary of State and Senator and current climate czar John Kerry. He's also the great-grandson of Henry Hines Jr., or Henry Hines, founder of the international food processing Heinz Ketchup. Archer is a businessman. We know who Devin Archer is, yeah. The Post reported on the laptop after it received data from computer from Rudy Giuliani. Post story was suppressed on social media and resulted in the newspaper's suspension by Twitter, which cited its hacked materials policy for not allowing it to be distributed. New York Times in March 17 story, centered on federal tax investigation into Hunter Biden's dealings, reported that the emails from the laptop were authenticated. People familiar with the investigation said prosecutors examined the emails between Mr. Biden, Archer, and others about Burisma and foreign business activity. Those emails were obtained by the New York Times from a cache of files that appears to come from the laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden at the Delaware repair shop. The email and others were authenticated by people familiar with the investigation. Hunter Biden introduced Mayo Biolab to officials at Burisma, the Ukrainian gas company, where he was a highly paid board member, for a science project involving biolabs in Ukraine, according to the emails. Metabiota said on its website it has over a decade of experience partnering with industry and governments worldwide to build resilience to epidemics and protect global public health. They've worked in Ukraine for Black and Veatch, an American defense contractor with the military intelligence agency to build secure labs in Ukraine. Their then Vice President Mary Gutierrez wrote to Hunter Biden about geopolitical issues involving the company's research in the former Soviet Republic, Ukraine, in April 2014. Quote, as promised, I've attached the memo, which now provides an overview of Metabiota, our engagement in Ukraine. Now we could potentially leverage our team networks and concepts to assert Ukraine's cultural and economic independence from Russia and continue integration into Western society. Sam Faddis, former CIA officer who reviewed the laptop's emails, told the Daily Mail that the offer to help Ukraine's independence was unusual. Raises the question, what's the real purpose of this venture? It's very odd, he said. 4 days after Gutierrez's email, Burisma executive Pozarsky wrote to Hunter Biden about an, as you called, Science Ukraine project. As I understand, the Metabiota was a subcontract and principal contractor of the DoD, Department of Defense, and B&V, Black and Veatch. What kind of partnership are they looking for in Ukraine? The U.S. awarded $24 million to Metabiota later in 2014, with $307,000 allocated for Ukrainian research projects. The younger Biden, 52, boasted to investors that his company organized funding for Metabiota and helped get new customers, including government agencies, according to the emails. B&V had been commissioned in 2010 by U.S. Defense Threat Reduction Agency to build a lab in Odessa, Ukraine, to enhance the government's existing surveillance systems to detect, report, and respond to bioterrorism attacks, epidemics, and potential pandemics. The DoD position is there's nothing nefarious here. This is pandemic early warning research. We don't know for sure that's all that was going on. Hunter Biden remains under federal investigation. He denies it. There you go. It was all conspiracy theory. Only it was true. So it turns out there are 34 labs in Ukraine and many others. Some of these labs that are dealing with this gain of function shit that we were told they weren't were getting paid $24 million by the U.S. government while they were working with Joe Biden, then Vice President's son, to get contracts in Ukraine. But it was all conspiracy. Now do you understand why the Biden administration had an incentive to say this is all bullshit? It's all bullshit. His son's directly connected. The Russian government is invading, saying they got these fucking labs with all this shit. Nuh-uh, that's not true. Yes, the president's son was involved in it. Nuh-uh, it's all a lie. Russian disinformation. Now, where was the media? They couldn't look into this? And by the way, what we'll be told is everybody already knew. These aren't news stories. Everybody knew. Fauci's pardon, Hunter's pardon. Don't worry. No one's going down for this. Not that they would have anyways. Everybody's greasy little fucking fingers is in it. So remember this. While you were locked down, they are living it up. They censored your ability to talk about COVID. They censored your ability to talk about the fucking emails in the first place. The Hunter Biden emails. They called you a liar. They said you were spreading Russian disinformation. When you talk about the laptop, they'll say, it was just Hunter Biden's dick pics. No, I don't give a shit about that. I never did. That's just them downplaying, gaslighting you once more. It's all so fucking tiresome. Why would Russia invade? It's just, and by the way, this is just one little part. Now, I'm not saying Russia was justified in their invasion. That's not what I'm saying. But as I said in that video way back from 4 years ago in 2022, we have to be honest. It doesn't mean that they were justified to do it, but we have to be honest and say, what did we do that helped lead to this outcome occurring? We kept fucking around. We kept expanding westward with NATO. We were pushing these biolabs right up to the fucking border of Russia. We're attacking Syria, which is Russia's ally. We're involved with fucking most likely a color revolution in 2014 to overthrow the government of Ukraine that was friendly with Russia and then became hostile to Russia. But hey, forget about all that. Just put a Ukrainian flag in your bio of your social media. That's what's important. And let's send a generation of young Ukrainian men to the fucking meat grinder. Shall we? Then we can feel good about ourselves. But whatever you do, don't question it. That would be bullshit. That would be insensitive. It's all conspiracy theories. Just fucking conspiracies. It's cool, though. Hunter Biden's out there now hamming it up on social media. Yuck, yuck. I was a drug addict. I was treated poorly. Ha ha. Now, we'll be told no one ever said they weren't labs, and this is a nothing burger. It doesn't show much. It's all just more of a conspiracy. Fuck those people. How many times are they going to lie right to your face? It'll be just like my interactions with Destiny. Years and years of talking about how the Russia collusion shit was a hoax, and how they were illegally spying on Trump's team, and how it was corrupt. And then our last debate, he's like, of course it was. But it was a long time ago. I've always said that, he says. That's what the people who said, we always said there were these labs. That wasn't the issue. No one gives a shit. It's a long time ago anyways. But what about January 6th? That's the important shit. The big thing this week was, right, I love this. No one really said defund the police. We didn't push the trans shit. We didn't do that. No one really did that. Oh, man. But good on Tulsi. I know she's leaving to help deal with her husband's illness and everything. I always liked Tulsi. She's been maligned as a fucking Russia asset for years. And they're going to go, that's what the attack will be on her now. This is just to help Russia. I'm hearing rumors that RFK Jr. will be out soon. Hopefully he gets to release something that he was concerned about on his way out. Don't forget, U.S. slams Kremlin claims of bioweapons labs in Ukraine. Yeah, I bet. My son didn't do that. By the way, that's one of the dirty little secrets that you're going to see with Hunter Biden and Burisma and shit. That he was doing shit that the government was kind of like, it's sort of an asset for us, even if not officially. I just heard rumors that RFK will be stepping down. We'll see. Clayton, the replacement, I don't know much about. Let's read some super chats. By the way, Rumble, even though YouTube's not doing so good tonight, Rumble, you're losing. I'm rooting for you, Rumble. Napa, $20. Thank you so much. Sapolaba, another 5 says, we Americans believe we have the same moral values worldwide. Yep. And Intel Wild, $5 says watermelon felon. Yeah. In other news that I'll talk about real quick here. Remember the Scottish girl holding the hatchet and the knife that we talked about a lot? Remember that? Well, turns out she was right. They just convicted the fucking guy that was assaulting the girls. See if I can find this. This was the picture. That was all bullshit. That was a conspiracy, remember? Now think of how much anti-white racism these countries made up predominantly white people must have to believe adult minorities over young white girls. Even after the grooming scandals came out. Nope, we don't believe you. They'll fucking believe anything. You'd be a black chick and say the whole Duke lacrosse team assaulted you, and holy shit, the entire country will come to a halt. But a 12-year-old girl brandishing weapons saying, please leave me alone, get the fuck out of here. She must be a liar, the bitch. Right, Fosh? No, those minorities wouldn't assault anyone. Forget about all the data that shows that they do. Man guilty of attacking girl in Dundee axe and knife incident. Ilya Belov, 22, was also convicted of behaving in a threatening or abusive manner towards 4 girls, all of whom were aged between 12 and 14. What kind of society do we find ourselves in the West? Where 12-year-olds have to arm themselves to protect themselves from migrant men, Because we as a society are like, we like curry, so the food's delicious. What would we do without all the immigrant food? So sorry, little girl. Good luck. Good luck to you. Hope you don't become a statistic like all those other tens of thousands of girls that were groomed. It's all right. By the way, it's the same society that punished children during COVID with no scientific evidence, locking them down, even though everybody knew that it was going to cause significant developmental delays with children. Didn't matter. We had to do it to protect the adults. We have to abort babies by the fucking millions so that adults could have better lives. Let's be honest. We deserve a fucking flood. We should judge a society on how we treat the most vulnerable, children. And we're failing. If only this young girl would have said that she wanted hormone therapy and to become a boy, then the story would have been taken seriously. Giant meteor next time, hate monger. The world needs more Daniel Pennies. The world doesn't deserve more Daniel Pennies. Who wants to be Daniel Penny? I wouldn't be. At the end of the day, I'm going to look out for my family first. At least I don't know. Maybe I would. But if I was thinking rationally, I wouldn't. Why go to prison the rest of my life? Half the people that I'd try to help on the subway would probably vote to fucking convict me. So you just look the other way. That's what society is now. You look the other way as you see it all degrading in front of you. It's understandable. Some more super chats. Joseph Romano, what's happening, my friend? Thanks for the $10. Alan's Alps, thank you so much, man. $10 says, Rob, do you think a certain level of corruption in government is kind of expected? And if so, when do you become concerned? It is simply a perceived legitimacy. Thank you for the content. Of course, there's going to be some level of corruption in any institution. When you become concerned is when it's evident that their priorities are no longer the people that they're supposed to represent. I can handle corruption in the name of trying to help your constituents to a degree. What I can't handle is corruption in the name of trying to fuck your constituents over. Intel Wob, thanks for the 20. Says, rest in peace, Arena Zertuska. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace, Awesome Echo. Thank you, man. You're absolutely right. Adam Adamant. $20, thank you. Says, if the Sikh man gets, Sikh, S-I-K-H. If the Sikh man gets to carry a knife and a Sikh knife, and the Irish girls should be allowed to carry a claymore. Yeah. I said, what religion do I have to be allowed to carry an AR? Am I allowed to say that's part of my denomination of Christianity? Arthur Beale. I love that movie, man. Network. Now I have a busy day lined up tomorrow. Busy. We're going to start at 3 o'clock with the Dino battle. Now, Chomp Chomp said he'd sent me some assets. I saw the assets. I downloaded that. But he said he sent me a... Are you here, Chomp Chomp? You said you sent something for brackets. I could look something up myself, I'm assuming. You guys are going to love this. Give me a second. Alan Alps, $5 says, is Piers Morgan really that wretched of a person, or do you think he's playing in part to get dissonant info out? I don't know if it's to get dissonant info out. I think he likes to play devil's advocate. I think he has some beliefs, and he's like super mainstream goober guy, and he hypes it up. All right, here we go. This Chop Chops made this. It's very good. You ready?
Welcome to the Blasterbots Dino Battle Invitational, Saturday, June 13th, 2026. $50 entry. Let the battle begin.
It's funny shit. Good stuff. And then I also saw Chop Chop. Oh no. Oh no.
Where there's a whip, where there's a way, where there's a whip, there's a way, where there's a whip, there's a way, where there's a whip, why left? There's a whip. There's a way. Well, there's a whip. There's a way. We don't wanna go to war today, but the Lord of the Left says nay, nay, nay. We gotta march all day, all day, all day. Well, there's a whip. There's a way. Well, there's a whip. There's a way. Well, there's a whip. There's a way. There's a whip. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Well, there's a whip. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right. We're gonna fight, we're gonna march all day and night and marvel. We are the slaves of the dark Lord's war. There's a will with a will, will with a will. There's a way. There's a will with a will, will with a will. There's a way. Whoa, it's a will, right, left, right, left, right, left.
What is
There's a
happening?
will, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's I.
What was that little dance? People appreciate. What was that? Oh shit! What was that? Oh man! What happened? Oh my goodness. Oh man. It's horrible. It's funny. Chop chop. It was $20. Says he played it. Yeah, I did. I did play it. I don't know what was going on. Oh, my son has a dance. He calls the winner's dance. It's like, I don't know where he got it. It did kind of look like winner's dance. Oh man. I did. It was funny. It really was. I hate the fucking song, but you know, what can you do? So yeah, at 3 p.m. tomorrow we're going to be starting the Dino Battle Invitational. I'm just going to fuck around until we get a significant amount of entries, and then we'll do the battle, and then we'll fuck around more if that's what the day entails. As long as there are people around having fun, I think it'll be a fun show though. Yeah, great lyrics on that one. I agree. No, that the video doesn't get added. No. Oh, Jewish people. Oh, the Jewish people are everywhere.
Jews.
Now I'm good. Now I'm speaking the truth. What do you think? Did I do well?
Anyways, next question. Is blackface or brownface ever okay?
Only if you're a pretty kitty.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It's fucking the worst. Okay. Okay. Oh man, what are we doing? I don't know what that's from. I just found it on X. Oh man. If I did that, I would like wake up in a cold sweat every night like I'm so fucking cringe. I'd be apologizing every day. Okay. Oh man. Listen, we're going to call it an early night tonight since we're going to be streaming during the day tomorrow. Now, it would be nice to make it to our goal, so I have to yell at people. First, I have to yell at the Rumble crew for $0 donated today. Now, I know the Rumble crew traditionally is the most fun because they could use slurs, and we all know that's good. Right? But $0. And then YouTube, only 41% of the goal. Well, that's fine. It's okay. I'm not going to sit here and pout about it like Darkside Phil. I've fallen out of that rabbit hole. I was having fun looking at Darkside Phil shit, and I've fallen out of the rabbit hole. Look, I'm not going to say I don't care if people aren't donating. I'm not going to say that, right? But I don't. I really don't. You guys are so generous to me all the time, and I can't get over it. I was telling someone this the other day. I'm like, I'm totally fucking shocked any day that I ever make even $5 streaming. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are people donating money to me? I mean, I'll take it. Oh, look at this. Our man Blasterbot comes in. The eponymously named as Blasterbot. $200. What a legend. Says, okay, here's the deal. 2 whip songs, a slot EOD. Are we not men? Achilles. And is this enough to do VK? Okay. I don't understand all of this. 2 whip songs.
I think he's asking, does he get 2 whip songs for his 200? And did he reach the goal for you to go on BK? I don't know what slot EOD is, but are we not men? I think he's just giving a shout out to the mods.
Oh, okay. Hitakachi, thanks for the $10. Really appreciate it. I don't know. The problem, so let me explain the verbal combat thing. Here's why I don't like to do it if I don't do it in the first hour. I'll tell you why. Because if I go over there, then the whole show becomes about me. And I sort of feel like it's unfair to the people that are there supporting it every week. If I was them, I'd start to get a little bad taste in my mouth about me. Like, fuck this. This is our thing. And Rob comes in, and then it becomes all about Rob. And so I hesitate to go over there. Once in a blue moon's fine. But I figure if I'm going over early and then ending around midnight, that's one thing. If I go in at midnight, I'll be there till 2. And then a lot of people that want to like sort of debate and try to win the prize at the end, probably they'll end up losing to me. And then, I don't know. That's sort of how I feel about some of that. But if you really want me to go over, I can.
We can do the 1s and 2s in chats.
Well, everybody's going to vote to go over. I mean, I know that. I know how it goes. But yeah, I'll go over for a bit here. 1 second, though. Let me read the rest of these super chats. But Mechanical Mike, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate it. Mangozi, $10 over on Rumble, says, shh, don't let Rob know we're slacking. It's all right. Danny Boy for 20 says, Rob, this is because all the Pride Month people, we'll use that word, on Rumble can't seem to pay up. Thank you, Danny Boy. And Real Madrid, $5 says, congrats to Will to push for Ward becoming a father. Well, congratulations. That's awesome, Will, to push for Ward. Best thing in the world, being a father. Absolutely. Blastbot says the slots were for the Dino Battle. 1 each for those. 3 things, and the 4th for me is an extra slot. Phone posting is hard. VK's up to you. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. 1 second. That's absolutely. So
yeah,
it's $50 to enter the battle for tomorrow. So he donated. That's 4 entries.
Oh, I see what he did. Also, if you do go on BK, if you could just knock out AVG and we get the simps out of the way, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, so a slot EOD. Are we not man Achilles? So far, we have 9 entries. Now, I'll have to count the total amount of cards, but if we have to do multiple tournaments, that's fine. Before we declare a winner, that's perfectly fine. Well, let's play the 2 whip songs I own. We'll see how it goes from there. Oh, by the way, we're at exactly $357. Thanks to our friend Blasterpot doing all the heavy lifting. But everyone's been very generous. That calls for a goal. Thank you so much. Searsight, $5 says, good evening, Rob. Good evening to you. Oh, Wade Bugs, $100 says, I mean, if you're taking buttons already, put me down for 2. All right. I could do that. See, I wanted to wait until we were close to, or else, but this is good. Okay, Wade Boggs in for 2. All right, I owe 3 whip songs. We'll start the whip song portion of the show now. I fucking hate this. But so once we get to $500, that's a whip song. Every $100 donation's a whip song. $150 donation, you can pick your own. $200, you can create a new version. Everybody knows the rules. If you don't, then you don't know what's going on, and you're going to hate me and this show. And you'll be right to, because it's the worst. Rumble, you are, let's see. Rumble is only 10, 20, 45, $55 away from a song. Harsh Horse Text. Yay. Now, I do want to say before I play this, I am well aware that a lot of people's favorite thing on this show, is the same thing as my favorite thing, which is debating. And so now that I have the new computer, I've talked to Andrew. I think I got the setup necessary to do the TikTok invasions. So give me a couple weeks. I got some stuff coming up here in a couple weeks, but when I get back from that, hopefully before DebateCon, we're going to start setting up at least once a week a TikTok invasion. Now, I will be recruiting some of you to help me out in the back end with that, but it's something that we'll have planned for like 3 or 4 days ahead of time, so the people will know that could help. And we're going to go fuck people up. Because if I have to deal with so much of the fuckery when it comes to setting up debates now with these goofballs, I might as well just do the TikTok invasion. So I'm looking forward to it. I love fucking debating, and I love jumping in. So I just want to let you know. And I want to thank largely all of you for your donations. Helped me get the new computer because it just wasn't happening with the old one. And Avarice for setting up the computer for me. So I think that it's really going to make the show better. And that's something we could always do like any night. I don't give a fuck. I'm down. You know me. I'd stay up debating till 5, 6 in the morning every night. I don't give a shit. So, yeah. So, yeah, my wife says, I'm on notice. That's right. So, all right. First song. 03 right now. How was that only one? I'm going to show you something. No one's going to get this. Gene Shalit passed away, which is a bummer because there's this guy that holds road sign down by us when like they're cutting tree limbs who looks exactly like Gene Shalit. So I'd always be excited driving my son to school in the morning and we would see the Gene Shalit look-alike. I'd be like, hey, it's Gene Shalit. He's not reviewing movies anymore. And I just saw that he passed away. Not the road sign guy. Road sign Gene Shalit probably still alive. But you guys don't know Gene Shalit? Oh, man. Here. Why is it not showing up? There it is. This guy. Gene Shalit. There's a guy that holds the road sign that looks exactly like that guy where I live. Well, variety's screwing. 100 years old. A good life, Lynn. God bless Gene Shalit. You brought me and my wife humor. There's some guy that looked like you held a road sign. It's a bummer. All right. No one gives a shit about me and my wife's inside joke, so we'll proceed. 2 more, IO. Hate monger, are you calling me an ugly bastard or Gene Shalit? Or both? Yeah, fair enough. He was funny. He was pretty funny. This one's annoying. I mean, they all are. They all are, but this one.
A whip, there's a way. We don't want it. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a way. There's a way, there's a way. Where there's a way. There's a way, there's a way. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight. We're gonna march all day and night and more. For we are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war. There's a way, there's a way.
Hey! That's right. Chad points today. That's right. All right, last one, unless anyone donates.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way. 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 Left, right, left, right, left. There's a way. Left, left, right, left, right. A crack on the
Which is your least favorite version of that song? I personally hate the experimental wolf jazz the worst. That's my least favorite. Yeah, Imaginarium nails it. That one we just played. All right, well. All right, well, we're $45 away on Rumble from another one and $39 on YouTube. That's fine if people want to end. We got a big day tomorrow. Big day. I'm going to try to get the stuff up early in the day so you'll know. Yeah, the Wolf Jazz is the fucking worst. Anything that's under a minute, like you wait. You fucker. Oh, man. What a bummer. No! Gene Shalit! No! 100 years old, though, huh? Man, we should all be so lucky. I bet he had a good life. He seems like he had a good sense of humor. Quirky guy. I hope he was happy to the end. Yeah, he was always funny. He always seemed like he was having a good time. I like that. The Disney song fucking blows. His mustache. They're going to take his mustache and put it in the Smithsonian. You know. 3 p.m. Eastern time, not you Western weirdos. So we'll stick around for a while, even if there's... I never know with things like this. Like the 24-hour whip thing, I was like, maybe there won't be anyone there. Maybe it'll just be like me and Wade Boggs. But no, that ended up going 28 hours. Right? So I don't know. I don't know what to expect tomorrow. It might be shit, and no one might show up. We're still going to have fun, those that do show up. I'm going to start at 3. I'm going to go for at least some time. If no one's showing up and like donating for the dinosaur thing or anything like that, then I'll just rant and rave about politics and shit. You know? If you got shit to do, it's all right. We'll be all right. So yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern. I think it's going to be a Central as a compromise. What the fuck? It's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern. Then I got to come up with a 25,000 sub stream. My idea is to do a 24-hour stream with 12 debates. But I got to find 12 debaters. I don't know who the fuck they'll be. Maybe I'll just debate Chat GPT. That seems to be what's going on now anyways. Yeah, I know. Me ranting about politics. What? Say what? What? Yeah, okay. Got you, Arwin. Man. Yeah. But, should be fun. I think it'll be fun. Well, if people are done tonight donating, that's completely reasonable. I think you guys are more than generous to me. You really are. I'm constantly shocked at how generous everyone is. But I thank you. My new wax ring that you guys paid for, thanks you, on my toilet that I put together. Ha! Man shit. The Phil Bros ran like a bitch, at least the ones I know. That's real man shit. Who are we going to raid over to? I have an idea. Our good friend Speakeasy. So, reminder, $39 on YouTube would be one more whip song. $45 on Rumble would be one more whip song. Of course, you could just donate $50 and get entered into the Dino Battle. I think the most fun part's going to be drawing everyone's dinosaur. I figured I'll wait to do that until we have a huge amount of entries. Right? But it'll be like, all right, Wade Boggs is up next. Oh, he's got a stupid fucking little guy. Ha! Eat that shit, Wade. That'll be fun. You know? It's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be good. Hey, you could donate $100 and do both. That's true. I don't know. You never know. Now, I'm going to have to write down some rules because there's going to be, I know there'll be controversy because it's rare, but sometimes they tie. And I can't figure it out. If they tie because, like, I think that there's some variance is what it seems to me to be. There's a variance. So, like, it's not always T-Rex beats this dinosaur. Yeah, if T-Rex faces Spinosaurus, T-Rex always wins. I think T-Rex wins like 70% of the time, and they I'm pulling numbers out my ass. But, like, T-Rex wins a portion of the time, they tie a portion of the time, and Spinosaurus would win a portion of the time. And then the more discrepancy there is, like a T-Rex would almost never lose to, like, a little. So if they tie, we're going to have to redo it. And if they tie twice in a row, then we're just going to have to flip a coin. Is going to have to be how it goes. I'm not handicapping. There's actually one that I think's better than T-Rex. I'll give you a little inside baseball. Because it's Jurassic Park, they have a couple of the fake dinosaurs in there, like Indominus Rex. And I think, for whatever reason, it highly values flyers, which I guess makes sense. Now, like, in reality, I don't think a pterodactyl would fight a T-Rex. I could be wrong. We'd have to ask Blasterbot. But I guess if somehow you were forcing them to fight, it would be tough for a land dinosaur to beat a flyer. What's it going to do? Just, like, reach up? You know? I don't know. Yeah, we could have, Blasterbot could tell us. We'll get Blasterbot's predictions based on his dino expertise. You know? Oh, shit. Look at that. Wow, piss. All right. Hitakachi, $50 to enter the dino battle. You got it. Over on Rumble. That also will put Rumble for one whip song. And then Intel Wild gives $20. Says, love you, bro. Whenever you feel down losing, just remember we're counting on. Thank you, Intel Wild. I really appreciate that, man. And then gives $100. That'll put him in the dino battle. All right. 3 whip songs I owe them. All right. I can handle that. Thank you guys so much. You could have all said no whip songs, please. That would have been nicer, but you know, I guess. Okay. Epic theme song. Thanks, Will. Congrats again, man.
Well, there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day. All day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
Mr. B, $20. Thank you. Says T-Rex is from the Cretaceous period. Pterodactyl lived in the Jurassic period. They're about 90 million years apart. For perspective, me and you, Rob, are closer than T-Rex and T-Rex was with the pterodactyl. That's crazy. I feel like I could win versus a T-Rex. He's got those short little arms. I'd just stay out of reach. Use the jab. He wouldn't be able to get me. You know? I think I'd be just fine. Oh, fuck. That's another whip song. Shit. All right, I owe 3 more. You just can't let him get in close. Then he can throw those uppercuts. But if you stay back, I think I'd be all right. Two up.
Shoo up, shoo need a baby shoo, shoo up, shoo need a baby shoo, shoo up, shoo need a baby shoo, shoo up, you up. Where there's a way, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't wanna go to war today. But the Lord of the Lash says, nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day. All day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a whip. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, where there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left. Left, right, left, right, left, left. Where there's a whip. Left, right, left, right, left. Left, right, left. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight. We're gonna march all day and night. And more. For we are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war. Where there's a shoo whip. Shoo-dee-lurdy, shoo, shoo-whip, shoo-dee-lurdy, shoo, shoo-whip, shoo-dee-lurdy, shoo, shoo-whip, shoo.
Two more.
Disney.
No. Ah, mariachi. I'm a mariachi. I don't know about this version, but I'm a mariachi fan. Live mariachi bands, very good.
We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's
One more. We can go out with a bang here. Oh my fucking God. What a load of shit.
Whip. There's a way where there's a whim. There's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says, nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day. All day, all day. Where there's a will, there's a way. Oh, 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 oh. Where there's a will, there's a way. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight. We're gonna march all day and night and more. For we are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war.
All right. Everybody happy with that bullshit? Everybody happy? Fucking hate that. Hate it. All right. It makes me even madder knowing somewhere Wade Boggs is just fucking ear to ear smile. That makes me more mad. No, the more miserable I am, he's like, ha! Like a kid at Christmas, like, oh yeah! It like somehow never gets old. For him, it's been old for me for 8 months. It's truly a tenacious effort. All right, are people done donating? I can go to bed, get ready for tomorrow's show. I do appreciate you all. I do. You guys are great. Yeah, like here you lead. I do. You guys are great. Yeah, all right, Caleb. For you, I know it makes you happy. We'll do one more. Jews. Now I'm good. Now I'm speaking the truth. Yeah, everybody's happy. Everybody got what they needed here tonight. All right. I'm gonna end here. Thank you guys so much for tonight. Thank you to my friend Avers. Thank you to my editor Black Elk. All of my moderators. Thank you once. Penis Gate. Well, I'm sure Penis Gate will make an appearance tomorrow. The song, not the penis. Anyways. Thanks to everyone who super chatted tonight. You guys are the best. Everyone who liked the stream, subscribed. Really appreciate it. And even if you just chatted or didn't. Really appreciate it. We're going to raid over to Speakeasy, so make sure you tell them I said hi. We talked about the hoax today of the biolabs. We talked about the Austin Metcalf stuff. Never forget how all of these institutions are designed to lie to you. How you could be assassinated and they'll still smear you. And try to intend that no consequences ever come forth. And that's what the stakes are. So it's good to have fun and relax. But don't forget that's what the stakes are and why it's so important to keep pushing forward. So if you don't mind, say a prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family, and the same for Austin Metcalf, for Irina Zaratusky and all of the people, the Novak family in the United Kingdom, the gentleman that I think still fighting for his life that they tried to decapitate. Say a prayer for them. So I'll see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. As always, and rest in peace, Gene Shalit and his family as well. Yeah. As always, everyone, have a good one.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.